I mean, if you want to stay happily married, I am extremely happily married. Hopefully she is still too.
Yes.
But you get what you emphasize, and that's in anything, in your relationships, in your job. What you emphasize is what should shine through, and we emphasize our relationship together. And I think it helps that we understand, the value of time and the value of being present, because when you don't have as much time to be together and you don't have the schedule that lets you, hey, let's take in the sunrise for coffee and read together. That's just not what we do. But when we do have time together, it's intentional and it's fun, and we still like to cut up. We work hard, but we play hard too, and I think that's important.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us for another episode of At Home with Emily, a podcast about creating the life you love. I am so excited you are here with us today because we are in February and we are launching 4 couples you should know right here in Springfield, and couples from all different phases of life and different stories to share. And today I have with me Ryan and Katie Beard. And you may know the name from Missouri State Sports if you're a local sports fan. Ryan, of course, is the coach of the Missouri State Bears football program. And, I mean, Katie, you're pretty much co-coach, right? I mean, as involved as you probably have to be with everything that goes on.
We're right in with everything.
She's the real boss.
Yes.
Well, I feel like, too, we still think of you as being new to town, but I think it's because you really don't hear a lot of names unless it's the head coach in football. And you didn't start out as the head coach.
No, I came as the defensive coordinator. Yeah, we came from Central Michigan, came here as the defensive coordinator, spent 3 years in that role, and then last year promoted to head coach, or 2 years ago now. That's crazy. Yeah, 2 years ago.
So that was a big deal.
It was a huge deal. Everyone, when you get into coaching, you kind of set your vision, goal boards and stuff like that. And ours was to be, the head coach. And we attained that, goal at an early age, and we're thankful to have some success.
34?
35.
35 now, or how old were you when you got the position? 34
years old.
34, okay, yeah.
Yeah, which sounds insane when you say it out loud, when you think of people that are still head coaches at 75, and it's just, it's been crazy.
Yeah, wild ride already, right?
Really wild.
And so, Katie, for you, it's funny, we were talking before we started rolling here, and I was saying, so even though you grew up with a dad who was a head coach, really kind of a famous coach in college sports, we look at that and I was like, well, so it didn't bother you? Like, you were all cool with everything in the childhood and, the schedule, and you didn't mind marrying a coach. And you said that was not your plan.
No, yeah. I mean, growing up, it's exciting when you're younger. I mean, moving around, it doesn't really bother you when you're younger.
Yeah, kids are resilient in that way.
So when you're younger, it's fine. When you get into high school, it gets a little bit harder. I went to 5 high schools.
You're kidding.
And I think that's when it hit me.
5 high schools?
I'm not sure about this life as a wife,
Wow.
So I never dated a football player until I met Ryan.
Tried to steer clear until Mr. Charlie showed up over here, right?
Yes.
She said it much more gently than she told me. We actually started dating, and she was like, that I was never going to marry a football guy at all. And I was like, well, welcome to the show.
Well, fate definitely happened.
No question.
Yes, yeah.
No question.
So what was it about Ryan that changed your mind?
Well, honestly, so the way I met Ryan, we were at a football luncheon. I was there with my parents. My dad was coaching at Louisville.
Been to a million of those things growing up, I'm sure.
Yes. And so I was in my senior year of college at Louisville. I played golf there. So we had a table. Ryan actually wasn't supposed to sit at our table. He was a young quality control coach at the time and couldn't find a seat. And so my dad was like, just let him sit with us. He sat right next to me. And honestly, I really did feel it, and I knew it. Like, I know that's like...
Are you sure that wasn't a plan from your parents? Like...
Well, there's 2 stories to this. Bobby does have a different side of the story. He said that, the younger coach's table was full, and then he was like, because I coached for Bobby for 4 years before I even knew her. Yeah. And I give her a hard time even to this day about, I had been around, you didn't... now
I never noticed
you
him.
didn't even notice me.
Which is,
I was like, maybe my cologne wasn't right or my haircut for 4
Just
whole
didn't
years.
have the right
but
swagger.
no, it was
Yeah.
great. Pulled up a seat, and you could certainly feel kind of what was happening, and obviously my current employer could see it all over both of our faces too. So that was an interesting lunch, but
Yes.
that was a pretty cool moment. Lightning strike for sure.
Lightning strike.
In a
Yeah.
room full of thousands of people. Yeah, he sat
listen,
right next to me,
yeah.
and that's how we met. Now, it did take us a while to like get into dating, and he soon after that. So that was August.
Well, yeah, and no pressure.
No.
Coach's daughter.
Hey, listen, God's timing is perfect. He puts you in those
Yes.
situations that, shine light on where you need to be, when you need to be there. And, like you said, just because we didn't initially interact much at the table doesn't mean it wasn't in the plans. So here we are now.
Yes.
Still a big swing.
Yes. Yeah. He actually took a job that next spring away. So he
15 hours away.
went to northern
Wow.
Michigan, and so then we kind of started long distance dating, and so it took us a little bit of time. And
What were your dad's thoughts on this?
the first time I met him, he's like, "I've always loved Beard." He calls him Beard.
To this day?
Yes, he still does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I've always loved Beard, but it took him a little bit to
Warm up to the idea.
just to come to the idea that we were pretty serious.
Do you
about
have
each other.
siblings?
I do. I have 3 other siblings. So I'm the youngest of 4.
And you're the youngest. So
Yeah, she's the baby.
that was a big deal there too, I'm sure.
Yes. And then, they're all kind of in football. I only have one sibling that's not in football. So my sister also didn't have it in her plans to marry someone in football, and she's married to a football coach too. So
The charming.
it's in the
profession.
family for sure.
So wedding had to be scheduled outside football season.
Yes. So he proposed December 30th of 2016, and it was either that you really have 3 weeks to get married in the football world, and it's
When are those
the end
3
of
weeks?
June
Okay.
to the first. It's really the end of June to
Yeah.
the beginning of July. So it was either we get married in that next 7 months,
Yeah.
or we wait another year and 7 months.
I know.
So we just went for it, and we got married that next summer.
And so, well, you had a couple months.
We had 7 months.
7
Yeah.
months. Okay. I actually do relate to that because there are certain schools and followings. And Ryan jokes, my Ryan, he's like, we did not have to, she says this, we did not have to plan our wedding around the football season. He's like, it's just whether or not you wanted anybody from Oklahoma to come and be there
Exactly.
for my entire family. And so I did. So we actually pushed it all the way to August, but it was a little tight.
Right before the season started.
Yeah, we only had 2 months to plan it. So
Okay, wow.
but it was tight. Yeah, we either did that or we pushed it to the next spring,
Yeah.
So I feel like even in this area, there's not quite as diehard fans that they may not totally understand that. But I do understand.
Yeah, we're still working on that part. We're still working on them to get to the diehard point. That'll happen. Just got to keep winning.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that. So you came in taking over the reins here. Young guy. I'm sure everybody was excited. Let's see what you will do. First season out of the gate. How did that go for you?
Yeah, first season out of the gate it was an interesting one. It's kind of like being a parent. You prepare, and everyone thinks they're ready to be a parent until the baby's out, and you're going, "Oh no, here we go." So every single day was a learning experience. But I believed in the people that had mentored me. I was around great people. I think that's really one of the testaments to where we're at right now in our careers. Being around the right people and understanding kind of what it takes to be successful. And everybody talks about winning, and the fans only see it on a Saturday. Winning is a daily process, and we believed in that. And the first season, you only get a chance to be the head coach for the first year one time. So we went young. We knew we were going to have to take some lumps, and we went 4-7 that season. And we had a pretty good feeling last year that we were going to be able to bounce back and do some good things. And we ended up 8-4 and had one of the best seasons in school history. So here we are now.
So after the first season, or maybe during the first season, you said you knew you were going to take some lumps, but I'm sure you still didn't want to finish with a losing record, and I'm sure it was kind of hard on you guys at that time.
Oh yeah, as a
Just being
competitor,
in it.
yeah. I mean, as a competitor, you always want to win every single game. That's why you do it. And we're both competitors. She was a pro golfer for 2 years. She had a really, really good college, career in multiple sports, and it is certainly taxing. And not only is it taxing, but, everybody out there listening that wants to marry a coach and be involved in sports, the boss of the house, which is Katie, she's a single parent for 7 to 8 months out of the year. That's taxing, and along with losing, it sets up some circumstances that get a little tense. But the one thing I think we've prided ourselves on in our relationship is being able to compartmentalize. Work is work. Honestly, she has to pry work out of me at home. I try to just, once you leave the office, you're only around the kids and your wife for so long. You need to give them the best version of yourself, whether you've had the best day of the year or whether you're ready to fight the world. It really doesn't matter because your kids don't care. You need to be able to turn it off and come in with a smile on your face and, try to be the best dad you can be when you are around.
Your kids are little.
They are.
Yes. I think the hardest part about that first season is there was 4 games that it was within a few points. I mean, it could have gone the other way. And then we would have had, that 8 wins in that first season.
Yeah.
So that was hard because it's just heartbreaking games, right, where you could have won. But I am always blown away by the way that he can handle so much at work, come home, and he's right. Our kids are little. They have no idea. So all they care is Dad's home.
Right.
So he does such a good job at handling the emotions of work, coming home and being dad and playing with our kids. Like, he plays with them so well. So I am very proud of you for doing that.
Appreciate that.
Yes.
So you made it through the first season.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking, we gotta do it this year.
Oh yeah, the heat kicks up, and it's interesting because when we first came here in 2020, they hadn't won here in 30 years. So it's not like when we first got here the pressure was anything crazy. Hell, I was just happy to have guys that could walk and talk and chew gum and be able to put together a football team. And then when obviously Bobby came, we went to the playoffs a few years in a row, and that kind of created our standard. But again, we had the right pieces in place, and in the off season, me and Katie we meet after each season and kind of talk through good, bad things that you can kind of grow from as a family as well as a football program. And we were excited about it. We knew that we could do it, and we knew what it would take, and we just went back to work and got it done.
And so you guys are feeling pretty good right now. Are you feeling like the community's coming behind you a little bit better? I mean, they're starting to see some W's up there, and they can see what direction the program's heading and trying to get that fan base.
Yeah, it's amazing. Winning cures all in any industry. Whatever you're doing, if you're winning and you're successful, people will gravitate to that.
Look at the Chiefs.
That's right.
That's
exactly.
true.
That's exactly right. And the one thing, again, a testament to Katie is we're really involved in the community. We have a great group of core friends that, we're visible, because this is kind of with our players, but I tell them all the time, basketball has an advantage. They can see your face. They can feel your personality and your smile. Our young men wear football helmets, so we treat that the same way. We need to be visible in the community to where they want some equity in Coach Beard and Katie. They want to be able to connect with us on a level that goes, I'm not doing anything on a Saturday. Let's go watch the Bears play and compete. And we also, moving up the conference is tremendously helpful too. Everyone wants to be on the biggest stage possible, and now you have a chance to do that right here in Springfield, Missouri.
We were talking a little bit, too, about that stage and how college football has changed so much, where it used to be, well, we gave you a college scholarship, and there you go. You're welcome.
Yeah.
But now it's not that way, and players can move around and find better offers and better deals and more money, and, I mean, you don't blame them, but I'm sure that's challenging when you develop those athletes, and I'm sure, too, Katie, they become kind of part of your family.
Oh, they do for sure. Yes.
And then next thing you know, they're moving onward.
Yeah, she gets probably closer to them than most because we have, again, we tell the parents they're away from home. We have to give them some semblance of home life. So every Wednesday night, she brings the family out. They do baked goods for our team, and they get to play with the team after practice and hang out a little bit. That way, they need to see us not just yelling at them in practice. They need to see us being a dad and a husband and those type of things. I think we've done a good job of that. And the best thing we can do, talking about the portal, and everybody has their feelings about it, which is fine. The best thing we can do as their coaches, their mentors, we're a vessel to their success. On the field, off the field, everything that they become and do needs to be a reflection of us. I think, and take pride in the fact that if someone's calling a young man in our organization, offering him $500,000 up to $1 million to go play somewhere else,
Yeah.
that we've done right by the young man, and we've put him in a position to be successful, and he needs to go capitalize.
Still hate to see him leave.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, there's
Doesn't
no
make
doubt.
it any easier,
There's
right?
no doubt. It's hard, and it's hard on fans. You know, you get attached to
Yeah.
a young man and his style of play and his personality, and then all of a sudden, you know, an SEC school pays him, you know, takes him away. But that's just,
Yeah, they've got the coffers there.
that's right. It's an ever-changing atmosphere of college football. But I'm a football fundamentalist, and I still think relationships matter, and I still think that their experience at Missouri State is something that we need to have at the forefront of everything we do. Because, again, when they're under our care, they're going to get everything we've got, whether we think they're leaving next year or not. In that moment, in that day, you need to approach them just like they're your own kids.
What's it been like for you, Katie? I mean, I know you've been here a few years now, but it still feels new, I'm sure. And for me, you know, I convinced my parents to move where we were, and I was so grateful. But just kind of having where you guys are the home base, and you don't necessarily have a lot of extended family, and you don't necessarily know, maybe you intend to be here, but you just never know as a coach, I don't think, what the future holds. And so what's it been like for you here in Springfield?
It honestly already feels like home. I never lived somewhere for 5 years growing up. This is the
Good
longest
point.
I've ever lived
Wow.
somewhere,
Yeah.
to be honest.
It's almost like being a military kid.
It is, yes. So we moved here. It was COVID time, and everything kind of shut down. We became really good friends with some of our neighbors, and that kind of, started us into the community. And we joined Hickory Hills, so we met a lot of people there.
Yes.
So we had a lot of friends, even when everything was shut down, and we're still really good friends with all those people. And we're kind of raising our kids, alongside those people. And this is all our kids know. When we moved here, our son was 20 months. Our daughter was 4 months.
Wow.
So this is all they know. I mean, they haven't had to move around yet.
Yeah.
And so we really love it here.
And so this is home for the littles. Now, how old are the kids now?
They are 6, 5, and then our twins will be 3 in March.
So super fun ages, but very
Yes.
busy household.
Yes, yeah. I mean, our house it's always loud, always chaotic.
Always something happening.
But we wouldn't change it for anything.
Yeah, I mean, they went out of town because Katie is an entrepreneur herself, and she's doing a few things, and they went to make sure one of her businesses that she's opening is functioning and running properly, and they were gone for 2 days, and I almost had a mental meltdown. I was like, there's no noise.
What in the world?
I'm here
What's going on
alone.
around here?
There's no one to talk. I was like, what are we doing? You just get, that becomes the fabric of who you are, and just the laughs and the giggles and the arguing. It's all just a culmination of, I call it heaven moments. When I take my last breath, hopefully when I go to heaven, that's what you'll hear, is those laughs, those, hey, Dad, this and that, all the good stuff that you hear in your house on a day-to-day basis. I try not to take those for granted. I think it helps that I'm not there super often. So, she has to do it all the
She's
time.
in the trenches.
She is in the trenches.
Yes.
And it's a testament to her as a person, because they are very great babies. Our babies are amazing. They're intelligent. They're vibrant. They are loud. They love to have fun. And it's a testament to who she is as a mom. So I can promise you that I would not be the head coach sitting here in front of you right now if it wasn't for how the house is ran at home.
And Katie, for you hearing that, that's got to be encouraging. The days are long,
They are. I mean, the saying, the days are long, but the years
Yes.
are short, is honestly, once you become a
I
mom, you
know.
totally understand
yeah.
what that means, because it has gone by so fast. But some days are super long. But no, Ryan, he's always supporting me at home, and so I do appreciate when he tells me how much he appreciates everything that I do for our family too. So
It's hard. I mean, it is. People that sit in front of you and in front of your camera and sit there and you go, every day, you're coughing up rainbows and Skittles. It's just not the truth, and especially, and we talk about it as a team all the time. And I don't envy young people right now at all. There's so much noise, and, to me, comparison is the thief of joy. And all these young people have right now is, this guy's doing it better on social media. He's got more likes, Instagram stuff. Like, who's commenting on your pictures. In reality, no one really cares that matters. You know what I mean? But they are filled with all this noise. And I think one thing we try to do at our house is making sure they understand exactly who they are and the brand they represent and who they are as people, and make sure they have the right foundation.
So do we think we have any football players in the mix at the house?
Well,
I don't push it at all.
We
She
don't
gives
push
me
it.
a hard time all the time. I let them play everything else.
Yes.
But our 6-year-old, he's already obsessed.
Oh, man.
But yeah, we don't
Well,
push it. But
yeah,
he
that's
did
what Daddy
start
does,
flag.
right?
Yeah, he started flag football, and now he wants to be up at the stadium around the guys all the time. So
And he's super athletic. I mean, he's gonna be a player at whatever he does play. But we try to cross train. Everybody that wants to get into one sport specific too early. Let your kids play everything. Let them do gymnastics. Let them do karate. Let them do piano, guitar. If they make it to our level, they'll be football all the time. So right now in their life, there's plenty of time for. We laugh about it all the time. I mean, even at home, unless Bo wants to put the TV on sports, we're watching what's that? Alone. We're watching Discovery Channel stuff and hunting and fishing shows, and to try to have some semblance of balance when in reality there really isn't any. But you try to have it.
Right. Try to create it.
Sure.
Where you can. I mean, the moments that you can. And how about for you guys? I mean, outside of raising the kids, I do feel like you're in those years where it is about the kids, and that's kind of how it is. But do you have any time or ability to focus on each other?
yes,
I know
we
that goes
definitely
pretty far down the list pretty quick. So
Yeah, we definitely try to make a point of it in the off season. We do Thursday night. We have set babysitter.
Oh,
Thursday
every
night
week?
in the
That's
off
impressive.
season.
yeah.
We-
Wait, for
we'll
those
do-
6 weeks?
That's right.
Yeah, it's not long. And then obviously sometimes other things come up for work, but we try to play. They have pickleball at Hickory Hills, so we try to do that a lot on Thursday nights, then go out to dinner.
Yeah.
So we do make
little
an
stuff.
emphasis of
Yeah.
having alone time too.
And you have to. I mean, if you want to stay happily married, I am extremely happily married. Hopefully she is still too.
Yes.
But you have to, you get what you emphasize. And that's in anything, in your relationships, in your job. What you emphasize is what should shine through, and we emphasize our relationship together. And I think it helps that we understand, the value of time and the value of being present, because when you don't have as much time to be together and you don't have the schedule that lets you, hey, let's take in the sunrise for coffee and read together. That's just not what we do. But when we do have time together, it's intentional and it's fun, and we still like to cut up. We work hard, but we play hard too, and I think that's important.
So as we look at the immediate future, you've been extended, right? At Missouri State, 2029, is that right?
2029, and I think it was a testament to what we believe in here. There were certainly opportunities. Again, when you're young and you win like that quickly at a place that's never won, you're appealing to a lot of people. But we've set down some serious roots here. We enjoy it here. She's happy. The kids are happy. And that's what the community and the players have really rallied around, is the fact that we're not going down to Southern Miss. We're staying put, and we're believing, and we're building this thing the right way.
It takes a little while to get the culture that you want, right? I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's huge, and it's extremely important. Again, as everything changes, we need to make things as stable as possible in-house, because again, we talk about blocking out the outside noise and everything else going around. We can't control that. We can control what happens in our house. We can control what happens in our businesses. And again, it goes back to who she is as a person, and who I try to be for the most part. And it should shine in everything you do.
7 years
We're
this year?
7 years in, yes.
Okay. Or will it be 8 years? It'll be 8 years.
It'll be
in the summer.
8 in July.
And your oldest is 6.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, we
You
got
guys have been real busy.
we got
Yeah.
pregnant right after the month after we got married, and
Oh,
then
wow.
we had 4 kids within 4 years. So,
Yeah.
we stay pretty busy.
When you talk about it out loud,
It does sound fast.
it's intense.
Yeah,
And
is.
it really is.
Yeah. So looking at the near future, like we were saying, Springfield is where we are. That's what we're looking at. It's coach's life. You have found ways to make it work. Is it something that you foresee being in? I mean, for the next 30 years, coaching?
I think so. I mean, it's really all we know. I mean,
I mean, you still have a smile when you talk about it
yes. I
right
mean,
now.
we do. We find the joy in coaching. I mean, once I did start dating him, I knew what to expect.
Yeah.
I mean, we get our schedules. Like, we know what our schedule's like during season. We are very routine people, so we do like having that schedule. And then we find the joy in it. I mean, it is hard with little kids, but they also love it. I mean, they
It's
love
exciting.
going to the games. They all go on the field after the games. They talk about getting autographed, so they take their markers and they get all autographed by the players. So they have so much fun with it too. So it is a fun lifestyle. You know, it's hard. We don't get as much time together as a normal couple, but we, like he said, when we do have that time, we really appreciate it. You know,
Well, and I think, too, it's all that you know.
yes,
You've never known him clocking a 9 to 5 at a bank.
no,
You know what I mean? And so that's how you came together. And so that's what you built from and built on, right?
yes, exactly.
You know, so it wasn't this big dramatic switch. It's always what it was, and you have found ways to make it work. And I'm sure, you know, Ryan, it helps that there's a lot of compassion and understanding from how she grew up coming into this.
Oh, it's tremendously helpful. Yeah, I mean, I tell young coaches all the time that aren't either dating or, you know, have a significant other, you need to tell them early about how the lifestyle really is. And it's really challenging because I think Katie can attest to this. You don't really know until you're in it. So they need to be dating. They need to be finding significant others that they think can, you know, stick and move along with the business, because there are some really tense moments. Like, prime example, you know, there's some times that your family is in the stands and things might not be going right on the field, and people that don't know you, don't know how hard you work, don't know anything about football, I'll say that again, are trying to comment on,
I didn't think
you know,
about that.
how
lot
things
of it.
are going,
Oh,
and
man.
your babies, your family's
Yeah.
hearing it. So it takes a very strong-minded person to live this lifestyle.
You're in the public
And-
eye.
yeah, and
the
understand
kids didn't
it.
necessarily ask for that.
Yeah, no, there's no
Yeah.
doubt, and it's challenging, especially with, you know, the Twitter warriors and the people that, again, like you said, work at the bank from 9 to 5. They can call the game and do things better than you that's done this for 15 years. You know what I mean? It's part of the world we live
Part
in,
of it.
and
Yeah.
I embrace that. I think that's fine. I think that's another exciting part about it, because if you don't like what they're saying, work hard enough to change it. And if you don't, you know, it obviously won't work out here. You go start again and figure it out then.
Yeah.
And I think that's,
But different for your kids as they get bigger.
oh yeah.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying.
No, it'll be
Yeah.
challenging. And I think that's what will push us to work harder and make sure that every single aspect of our life is tight, so that we can afford them, you know, some semblance of normalcy, I guess you would say, outside of the coaching world. But it will definitely be a little heavier on them once they realize kind of what we do and who all talks about it and, you know, different stuff like that.
Like you said, the important thing is that foundation and doing your best for what you can control, right? The realm of concern is always much bigger than what we can control. So,
No doubt.
well, listen, we are so grateful that you are here in Springfield, and I'm sure that you are both going to learn tons along with your program being developed. Already have,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
and at the helm. And so we are grateful that you're here, and I appreciate you guys coming on today.
Well, thank you, Emily. We appreciated being here.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Go Bears.
Yes, go Bears.
And thank you guys so much for joining us today. Hey, if you are watching us on YouTube, please don't forget to like and subscribe so you can be notified when our next episode drops. We have a new one out every Wednesday. All this month, it's the 4 couples that you need to know right here in the Ozarks. If you are on social media, please look for Around the Ozarks on both Instagram and Facebook, and head to aroundtheozarks.com and be sure to sign up for our daily newsletter when you're there. We'll see you next time.